Hello there again, dearest fellow strawberries, fairies, pineapple darlings, and happy cupcakes. Welcome to my channel, and I heartily welcome you all. As usual, every morning when I woke up, I would part the curtain before I would do the same ritual of meditating in silence, praying and reflecting on the things that I missed the most. My beloved daughter, Amanda. Holding on to her favorite kitty puppet, which I put next to me on my bed, I would think of her and pray for her this way every day for the past 9 years. It is a personal intimacy between my thoughts, speaking out to her and to God. I missed her every day, and I will always do. I grieve, and I am still grieving, and I will always be. But even though I grieve, no matter how deep the suffering that I felt that causes me extreme sorrow, I never neglect myself. In times of desperation, I never cease to take care of my health. Almost every day, that is, if I can, I would jog in the woods, and I have my own favorite path where rarely I met anyone. Perfect isolation at best, away from people's view, and it is very peaceful there. By the time I come home, I will look into it that I creatively fill up my time by doing something I love, something of which that makes me happy. It does not mean it is necessarily something important. These are novelties in mind. I treasure these moments of healing and appreciating life by celebrating bits and bits with little hobbies and creativity. Today, I have decided to pick up some flowers in my garden and make a new bouquet for the dining table. Nothing extravagant, but the simplicity of it is simply healing. To speak on the matter of spiritual healing and all that, I felt the joy of doing something spontaneous at that moment without not much plan or schedule. It is an effort to move forward to go through your day, and you will eventually find there is a hidden beauty in life's most ordinary moments. And some moments that I cherish, I would record my thoughts in my journal. For that, I am more than glad for being a witness to the sacred. Behind all that, there are some lessons to learn, and those lessons are the insight of one's own perspective of how one perceives life, people, nature, or events. I want that my children to know that these are my thoughts and understanding of how I manage. In moments like this, I spend a while understanding the silence and that this space permitted. I am giving permission for the place to take over and create its own design of life, breathing within the walls of my home. This is what I have, and I will never take it for granted. So, memories are made of this. We all do need to be reminded of the lost dreams, of the uprising and of second chances, of colors and happiness and of forgiveness and of love. Lest my hope is dimmer than the light of the day, I must strive towards the light where the soul knows the least that the stars are always there, even if the daylight is gone. I live through my senses, and I do sense time and the timeless. These are all the small blessings of heaven. That is, if you know where to seek the small treasure that is hidden. This is my etymology of the Braven. Need not search for a bigger thing, but the tiniest are always the meaningful ones. Those small graces, those small blessings. To speak of those small graces and small blessings, for almost a month now we are blessed with 4 new family members. Our cat Miss Burrito had given birth to 4 healthy fluff balls. Our lives are filled with moments like this, extraordinary if one sees through the awareness like an unbidden shaft. Too often that we are blinded by our duties towards our daily obligations that have no end to them. We should learn not to let such demands suppress us from the quieter voices of spirit. We live strongly within the boundaries of our own life experiences. We tend to forget to look beyond, and we always forget about our own well-being. In times when I am in such a rush, my children are the ones that always seems to remind me that I need a break, because simply I must give myself a break. And so I would turn around and realize that these moments are the most precious gifts. And so I learned to put a stop, to breathe in and rest and watch my surrounding with care. A moment, for example, having a few minutes to share with my little boy as he asked me to sit and watch him do some sketches of our little kittens, is like a rare sunlight that I try to catch in the palm of my hand. And yet, these moments are short-lived, and then it is gone. I want to always be able to relive that moment, because the day would come that my children will not be here with me when they are older. This time is yet, neither it is in the past, nor in the future. These moments are immediate, now and here. So, may I take this gift and learn from it, and find my way to pass it on. Today I am on my own alone at home. It is a holiday, and so the kids are somewhere at their friends' places. While my little boy went down to see his grandma down the hill, I spend some time preparing lunch and spend some time myself. Moments like this are vital, and moments like this that I really do appreciate, as it is the only time where I can be on my own. To have a small moment for yourself is like self-care, either bodily or spiritually. The silence of the house is quite surprising when nothing is in the background to fill up the empty space. Usually I would have switched on the radio, but lately I really love the sounds of the stream below, the bird songs that are echoing from the woods nearby, and the stillness is so healing. It is at this time that I realize that my senses are most alive, awaken. So I really do enjoy this time on my own. And I know that it won't be long that when the kids come home again and this place will fill up with noises and commotions and activities. Don't get me wrong, I really love my kids. I really love my family life. But we should never forget that our well-being is also very important. It is the first priority, because like my mother would always say to me, if you don't take care of yourself, then how can you take care of the others? And she is right about it. And so I hope that my children will do the same, that one day they will be parents themselves and will have children of their own. And I hope that this advice that will help them to go through the hardest day, the most difficult time, and that they will take care of themselves and know that I do the same. Gone will be the openness that comes only to the waking of the mind, and with it came along the chances to focus on the spirit and consecrate the day. I felt the quietness is lifting, and I am sent off into the poetry of the time to contemplate self-abundance. At that time, when I discovered the endless meadow, it seems the world is widespread and distant, too far for anyone to reach. The sun seems like a giant rock falling from the sky, burned in gold and crimson fire. I was mesmerized by the sight of it. The grass felt soft under my shoes, and the place smelled like earth and leaves. The wind came blowing gently, whispering some invisible poetry between the cracks of sleeping branches and of stones. Here is the place where I used to go and became invincible in the midst of the widespread fields, overlooking those mountains and small villages. Here is one of those familiar places where I would have some time to be alone, and I will bring with me my book or a journal. Either I would spend some time reading or do some writing. As the sky fades to evening lavender, where amber grasslands smoldering to sudden gold, other life forms are awakened. I have just witnessed the reflection of the divine to be alive in the sacredness of life within the hallowed walls of the forest, where I took a glimpse of wondrous simple beauty in just one breath I take. By the time I came home, yet another lesson of life I have earned by witnessing the promise of changes. Of such our eternal love, forever be in every breath of me. Every scene, every sight, everything in this place is made of love. I would remember, and how we shall remember it all. I will always remember my children's shoes down in the corridor, or perhaps their favorite foods on kitchen counter, their favorite puppet perhaps, Armando's telescope where he used to watch the stars, Amanda's altar where we used to pray for her, our favorite books on the shelves, toy cars of which Armando always play with, our decorations perhaps. How about this, a gift from Grandma, her armchair, painting hanging on the wall, numerous family photos, the moment when Armando playing his favorite game, oh, my favorite plant perhaps, our burrito, and my wedding dress. Armando's photo at the time when we were at the museum. Tiny portraits of beautiful ladies. And my favorite coffee cup. Or a bouquet of roses in the vase. And at last, this scene of the dining table, I would always remember where we used to dine, making homework, painting, handcrafting, and flower arrangement. Then there were breakfasts, lunch, and dinners, birthdays, and Christmas, celebrating New Year, having a conversation over coffee and tea. These I cherish with my whole being, for I would want to remember, and I want it to last longer. Wisdom stores itself there where you never expected it to be, and that was what I had learned in this time of healing, and I am still progressing to be a better student, but a wiser master. And for these are my 1,000 doors of summer. And what about yours? Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe and click that notification button. So until the next time, bye.